Okay, there we go. So now I'm gonna try this one. Run the clock again. Write a function that takes a string of braces and determines if the order of the braces is valid. You should return true if the string is valid and false if it's invalid. Okay, so let me see if I understand. Takes a string of braces and determines if the order of the braces is valid. You should return true if the string is valid and false if it's invalid. This kata is similar to the valid parenthesis kata, but introduces new characters brackets and curly braces. Thanks to Orange Dog for the idea. All input strings will be non-empty and will only consist of parentheses, brackets, and curly braces. What is considered valid? A string of braces is considered valid if all braces are matched with the correct brace. Yeah, so the problem with this is that you can't. Yeah, this thing here has to be false. So it can't be just by counting how many exist. That's the issue. Yeah, this one is gonna be a lot harder. Because there's nothing that I can think right away that would allow me to do this. Maybe I can use the string.find thing. The loop that I did on the previous challenge. Make a delimiter and patterns. I'm gonna start by doing something like that. Or maybe brackets, curly, and paren. The biggest problem is because I need to have one for when it's beginning and one for when it's ending. So I think using regex is probably good here as well. Just like I saw on the other solution for the other problem. Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to use a regex pattern. But how I'm gonna keep track of the levels? That's the problem. So it has to be symmetrical. After the length, it has to be symmetrical. So after it finds the pattern, it has to find another one. The length has to be divided by 2, I think. But I'm not sure if that's a good way to go about it. There was something along the lines of find first off and find last off. This was the thing that I used in the previous challenge. NPOs I think is the maximum length of the string. So sub I assume is substring. Abbreviation for substring. Position maybe. Putting that together with a loop that calls the function for each of the string. I don't understand why he uses a pointer here. So S I think is this is just as braces. So I think write a function that takes a string of braces and determines if the order of the braces is valid. Should return true if the string is valid and false if it's invalid. So it's just braces. Oh yeah, I got the names wrong here. Or the pattern. Scala is similar to the valid parenthesis Scala, but it introduces a new character, brackets, and curly braces. It's a little bit confusing. I think it's gonna pass all of them. And will only consist of parentheses, brackets, and curly braces. Yeah, so you take both, all three of them. But I should only test for braces. Oh no, braces is all of them. I think. I'm not sure. Translation isn't very helpful. But I think I should put this one here and then whatever one I'm gonna check for there. Let me just test this and see. I think I forgot. Yeah, forgot this. Oh, I have to return something. No, so it didn't print anything? No, it's saying at 0. Oh, so this at 0 position. But then it doesn't find the other one. Yeah, that's the problem because the biggest issue is the levels that I don't even know what approach to take. Because if I did by symmetry, this would be correct, but it's obviously not correct. So what I have to do is check if there are any other open brackets instead of other ones, they have to close before the other one closes. So what I can do is do one for the open, one for the close. But then how would I test all three of them at the same time? I'm sure there's a easy way to do this with regex, but I just don't know regex in C++. I'm also not very good at regex. Oh, here would have to be the final bracket. So I think I can search for string methods. And maybe regex. I can loop through this string and do a bunch of if statements to check, but I don't think that's the best approach. It doesn't feel right, I think. There must be a much more easier way to do this. I use the substring to maybe do something. Now what I can do is put a while loop and then put each condition for a bracket. A while loop's inside a for loop, where when it gets to one of these patterns, it starts the while loop. And if there are any of these closing patterns, then it returns false. And now it just keeps going. And then if it passes all the loops, return true. I think that's a way to solve it that I can think about it, but it's clearly not the ideal way, I think. I can also trim the string as well by using this first off, the same way that I did the other challenge, where I do this pattern, find first off, and then I do the conditions. Let me write it down, these methods, just so I remember. Where's first substring? It's probably gonna go to last off. So let me think about this. I'm thinking about using this first off to remove the string. I can choose any of the three patterns I want. But then if I do that, I actually have to see which pattern is gonna be the first. So I guess I can get the first element. Yeah, I can get the first element of the string and do the pattern based on that, but the problem is I'm not gonna know which pattern it is. So if I trim the string based on that, then it becomes a problem after, because I don't know which ones to use. Thank you for the follow. Lego Logic. I'm not sure why the sound is working now. I didn't do anything, sure. Fang? No. I'm not sure, but probably not. If I not mistaken, Fang is Facebook, Google, Netflix, and something else. Amazon. Eventually, eventually I'm gonna look for a job and I'm gonna do freelancing work as well, probably, or coaching or something like that. So I'm trying to become better until I get to the point that I can do these things. But the reason why I'm probably not gonna work on Fang is because I don't agree with their ideology. I'd rather work for a startup or something like that. And there's also not a lot of growth in these companies because they're already established. No, I am self-taught. But my main goal is to make money on my own. I don't wanna get a job. But obviously, until there, I might have to get a job and then use the money of the job to make my own thing. Uh, my main long-term goal is to work on preventing self-destruction from artificial intelligence. I think that's the most important. So probably data science, AI, and yeah, data science, AI, Web 3.0, which is Ethereum, not Ethereum, but blockchain stuff. And I also have to learn front end because if I'm gonna apply for jobs, I need to build sites. So I'm doing that right now. After I do this challenge, actually, I'm doing this off stream uh, while I do these challenges, which is to build a Web 3.0 website. I already have one website that I built, and then I think I'm gonna make around, I'm gonna try to make, I don't know how difficult it's gonna be, but probably around 10 websites. So I have on my portfolio. And then also I'm gonna search on freelancing websites for jobs that people post, and I'm gonna try to solve them for free initially. And the more experience I get, I'm gonna see if I can make money that way as well. But depending on how long it takes me, then at some point if I don't manage to do that, I'm gonna stop and then use the portfolio to just search for a job. Yeah, and I don't like front end to be honest. I think it's kind of boring. It's good to know because it's useful to know how to build websites, but it's just not that interesting to me, at least. Yeah, it's way better, right? A lot more stuff that you can do. But I think Web 3.0 is probably the thing to focus on. Not only the jobs pay higher, but there's also a lot more opportunity to make money on your own if you manage to do things, to build an application or to build some. You don't even need to be that creative. You can just take an idea that exists in the normal, let's say, platforms and then transform that into decentralized. And all it takes is one to do well and you'll probably make money. No, I'm from Brazil. And it's Portuguese, my language. But people say I have a French accent. I'm not sure if that's true. Oh man, I've started learning English in when I was 8, and then I learned for 10 years, and then I also lived 1 year in the United States. So that helps a lot. And also doing these streams where I'm talking all the time, it also helps as well. But there are a lot of times where I want to do something and then I have to stop because I don't know the words and I have to think a long time. So it's still not. And also everything that I watch and read is in English because the information is better. Everything comes out in English first. Yeah, so this is probably gonna take me more than 2 hours to solve because I don't know how to get the levels in this to work. Just the biggest problem. I'm not sure if the thing is I don't wanna search for uh, a regex solution because it might give me just the whole solution and with the full regex. And I also suspect that there isn't a regex to do this. Maybe there is because the length of the string can be dynamic. Obviously, it's gonna vary depending on the string. So I'm not sure if there's a pattern to test regardless of how many of these are. And this is more of a stack solution. What do you mean by that? I don't know anything almost about C++, so I don't know any of the methods. I've learned just some string methods by doing other challenges, but I'm still very new to it, so I'm not used to anything you can do, especially with arrays and vectors, but also with anything else. Oh, stack frame, you mean? Okay. And what language do you speak? You say you're learning English. Stack is last in first out. Yeah, I think I understand your point. I just don't. I just have no idea on how to do that. I know the functions go into the stack, but I'm also yeah functions and variables, right? Anything there that I think things that are dynamic go into the heap stack. If I'm not sure, heap or whatever that it is called, and then the normal variables go into the stack. When you use a stack, you can check the last element and compare it to the equivalent braces. And how do you use a stack on C++? Is there a method to do that, or is this something that I don't understand about that the way that the program is being translated into? Use array, can pop the last element. Huh. Oh, so you mean, yeah, that's an interesting idea, I think. If I create a vector or something like an array and then I put the element, but how would I know which one is the first element? I have to check. Yeah, I can look through the string and can check which one is the first element. No, actually, I'm not sure if that would work. Unless I put a bunch of if statements to check if I'm getting any of the closing brackets before the one that started the vector, then it might work. Oh, I think uh, I'm not sure, but probably not that long actually. Just 36 minutes, 40 minutes, something like that. But I'm not sure if this is supposed to be a difficult problem. I don't think it is, probably. It's just that I'm very new to the language and just trying to improve, so I don't know how to do things. But I think if someone a lot more experienced can probably solve this a lot faster. The solution that I thought was to choose a bunch of while loops inside of for loop. So you loop to the braces, which is a string, and then inside of the string you do a while loop to check for if any of these patterns here exist. So first you check for one of these, and then inside of these if statements, you create the while loop to see if there are any of these. And if there is, then you return false. If it isn't, you keep going until you reach the end. Usually practicing with this problem, every time I get stuck in a problem, I watch a solution, try it to understand. Oh, 30 minutes is our maximum. I'm using 2 hours now. Usually try for 2 hours, but I solved the problem before this, which was very easy. I solved it in 20 minutes, and then I was gonna use the remaining time to see if I can solve this, and if I can't, then I would look at the solution. But it might be better to do a smaller time. I'm not sure. Because the thing is, I think I learned the most on these annoying moments where you don't know what to do and you kind of force yourself to do it. So 30 minutes you think is better? Or because the less you spend in one specific problem, you also increase your range of problems that you get exposed to. So yeah, try to understand it. Or I can just try to use my solution that is probably not ideal, and then it's probably gonna work. I think there's a high probability that it works, and then I can look at the other people's solution. Because usually I can think of the solution, but the biggest challenge is not necessarily knowing how to do something, is understanding when to apply things that you are not used to applying. This is very, very difficult for me. So, for example, in C++, you have pointers, and pointers are like, if you know JavaScript, is kind of like this word, where you create something that is going to point to something else in memory, and it's very difficult to know when to use this stuff, because I never used it before. So I think I'm gonna try to do the thing that I was talking about, but it's I greater than races dot size I plus plus. You find the same memory allocation or reuse memory. So it's more an optimization kind of thing. And but when do you decide, for example, this specific problem, I'm gonna use pointers now? I think it probably comes with experience of building things, but it's very difficult to know. Like this is the point where the same thing with classes and objects, because I usually revert to doing things like I got used to doing because it was easier for me to understand in the beginning. With for loops, for example. So I have to see how to get the length, how to get the index of the thing, of the character. I think it might be just braces. If I want to mutate the original value. Oh, you were talking about pointers. One implementation I saw, I think, was on a guy called Chili Tomato or something like that on his YouTube channel. That in some cases, when you wanna pass arguments to a function and you have constant values, then for some reason you can't do it. Then you have to use pointers to preserve the values, whatever, something like that. I don't remember really well. Oh, so this gives the index probably, yeah. So big braces. But then I have to check for the first, both for the first element and then for other elements. Actually, I'm not sure now if the way that I was thinking was gonna work is gonna work. Because I have to keep going. I have to keep looping until I find. Or maybe if I just do if braces I, because it's gonna stop in the first iteration anyway. So if the first pattern is this, I do while, but then I do. And what's the while condition that I'm gonna put here? Because I'm gonna have to loop twice through the braces. Maybe using a for loop is better than a while loop. Because the idea is to do this and then I'll do else if I do the same thing for the other patterns. And then inside I'm gonna check for the closing brackets. So here I would do a loop again. But the loop has to start from the position that I is in. So I think I can erase these variables here in the beginning. Probably at the end, sure. Oh. And if I put while braces I different than the other one, it doesn't make sense. So maybe it is better to do a for loop. The only issue is that I'm gonna have to do a bunch of them. Yeah, but I don't think it makes a difference. I'm gonna do it like this. It's the only way that I can think of. And then here I'm gonna, well, I think I have to put this here. If I don't, it's gonna give me an error, but maybe we should create another variable and then make it the other variable. Yeah, that's probably what I should do because otherwise it's gonna mess up the I here. Because I'm gonna be summing that. I could have done do it inside of the for loop. And that way I start on the position that I is at. And then here I'll do true if statements. But it feels very bad way to do this. So if it's this, I do one thing. And if it's this, so return false, return false. So if it starts at this and then loops through the string and finds any of this, it returns false. And then if it doesn't return, it's because it didn't find. And I think I can do the same thing for all the other ones. So this is the entire if statement. I think I'm gonna copy this just so I don't have to write it again. It gets confusing when I use V here. Not sure if this is gonna work, but this makes sense in my mind. So I think everything is correct here. The biggest problem that I see with this, oh actually, because let's say it catches this if statement and then it doesn't find, then it's gonna continue the for loop outside and it's gonna catch these ones anyway. So I don't see why this wouldn't work, but let's test. And then if it doesn't return false, it returns true. So I can't really do this. Comparison between pointer and integer. Oh yeah. Oh no, actually, from this answer, it seems like the guy is saying that this is gonna be a string. So maybe this is one of the situations where I have to use a pointer or something like that. Against the string literal is unspecified. Use a string and CMP instead. So I'm gonna search for this method. It turns an integral value indicating the relationship between the strings. First character that does not match has a lower value. Contents of both strings are equal. First character, so it should be equal to 0. But how do you use this? We just put the two strings. Yeah, I think that's... What's the last argument? Up to a number of characters. So I think I just write this and then puts here. Oh, actually, yeah. So if is equal to 0, the issue is that I have to do this on all of them now. I think this is correct. I could just copy and paste as well, but then I would have to change the things. It doesn't matter that much. Let's see if now it works. Yes, I still can't do this. Oh, I forgot to make it a comma actually. I'm curious to see what other people's solution is gonna be to this, if this even works. Oh, it's probably because I didn't import here. Yeah. I have to include, I think hash include, standard. I'm not really sure. Oh, but how is it working here? Maybe I have to do with standard before. That's probably the issue there. And this probably already has imported the standards because it's not giving me a mistake anywhere else. No member name, string and simpy. Hmm. No, it's IO string, the standard thing. Maybe let me copy this and see if it changes anything. Probably not, but oh, now it works. Expected 3. So now is the number thing. I should put 1 here. Again, all of them. I think this is how I know that this solution is definitely not the best. It's just too many loops. It would be much better if I found a way to do it only with one loop instead. And so this gives me a different type. Ah, so I guess I can make this equal to. I can change the type by making it equal to a string, maybe. This, I think this seems to be a const char pointer. So this points to a character. Yeah, so I think I can turn that into, yeah, but it's const. Maybe if I make it equal. I, if I use the same name. Yeah, probably I can't use the same name. So I have to do a different thing. Just do s here. But then I'm not sure if s is gonna be considered as a string. But it doesn't hurt to try, so. Oh yeah, but that's the problem. I have to do it inside of each loop. Because each loop has a different letter. And now that I'm already here, already did all of this stuff, I'm gonna do that. So it has to be here, I think. And then I wonder if I can use the same letter for all of them. Maybe not. I'm just gonna use S2 here. S1. And Ctrl V. And then the same thing here. S3. I'm using braces I here. Oh, here. So on this one, I can use. I'm gonna use another letter. Just so I don't have to change all the other ones. Use O. Oh, but this is not working as well. Hmm. So I'm gonna look for how to convert a char into a string. I wonder if I can compare two characters as well. It's probably better than converting. And then I would initialize them in the beginning. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna look for. So first, let me see how to convert. Starting address of the string, char buff, the max length, int 1. Center string, buffer plus length. Yeah, this is not exactly what I'm looking for. What if I just initialize the characters and compare them using the equal operator? I'm gonna redo everything that I did here. Because that way it would be two chars instead of strings. Okay, so I think the first. Oh, actually, I need to do it for all of them. So this will be char. Yeah, but then can I do it with this? Let me do for the first one and see if I can catch the mistake there, if it exists. So I don't think I can do that with this pattern here. Also, here they are using const char with a pointer. But then here is using string. I think this is probably easier. Then I just convert the number down. But because it's a const, it might not be possible to do that. So maybe this one. Oh, this one works. Nice. So I can just do this on all of them now. Hopefully it will work now. I think I'm gonna copy everything and change the letter. Hopefully it works after all of this. I'll also have to do it here. See if I'm missing any of them. Let's pray that it works. Also, I forgot to change this. Okay. Yeah, now I think this shouldn't break, bro. Nice, it works on this. Fuck. So why is this not catching the curly brace? Oh, I did the same one. That should be different. I wonder when the I probably changed without realizing at some point. Okay, so now hopefully it works. And still doesn't work. Oh, the issue is because I'm not closing, so I have to do the same condition, but to verify that it's true. That's the problem. But then it becomes an issue also. I'm gonna try and see if it works. But if there is, because then, what if, yeah, this first case here is gonna fail? Because if they are, so maybe I should, yeah, I should do outside of this for loop. So this is the for loop. I'm not sure if this makes sense. So it's gonna check for this, then it's gonna loop through the whole string looking for this once. If it finds ones, it returns false. But then if it doesn't, yeah, that's the issue. There's also this case here. So I have to check. Yeah, but this I can do outside of the loop. Just check to see if the first value is equal to any of this. Maybe I should do within this loop here, these conditions. The biggest issue is this one. That's how I'm gonna test to see. Because if I test inside of the loop, then it's gonna fail on this one. And if I test outside, then it's gonna return true when it might not be true necessarily. So how can I say start the loop again if it is this pattern until it reaches the end? Or I can make the I can't make it to 0 because then it's gonna give me an infinite loop. Maybe I could use find less of and make that equal to a variable. So I can use this find less of. Yeah, but this would give me the last one. I'm not sure if find first off. Yeah, first off, probably, actually. Oh, yeah, I can do that in the beginning of the loop. So instead of using j, I can make j outside equal to the length. Yeah, this is probably gonna work, actually. Because then it's gonna keep going on the outer loop, I think. So I'm gonna make each int j equals find less of. No, I'm not sure. I should probably, because then there's the problem of the string thing. So I think I can use this thing here. And then I use this. Yeah, but what if this is 0? Then it's not gonna run the loop. So I would have to make another condition probably. Or I can just say if j is 0, return false. Yeah. And then I can do this on the other ones. And I think I can erase this here. Probably the indentation here is incorrect. It's probably this one. Yeah, so let me think if this is gonna work or not. So I'm checking to see this is gonna return me the length of the substring until you ratchet. Oh, it's first off actually. Until it reaches this pattern here. And then it's gonna loop inside of here based on this one. And then the outer one doesn't matter because of the outer loop here. So I think this makes sense. Find first off. So I'm gonna copy this and put it on the other ones. And if it's 0, then it returns false because it means that it has an open bracket, but it doesn't have the closing one. So it should be outside of here. And I also need to how I'm gonna make this now. Because I need to erase this from here. Maybe if I do it like this, it works. And also change the pattern. So this doesn't work. So how can if I do int j is not gonna work. So I have to put all of this stuff here probably. Let's create another variable. Yeah. I think I'm just gonna do this because it's easier. And also I have to put int here and here. Oh, I think I forgot to change into equals 0. So what line is this? 31, I think. It's probably because well, does it make sense to be the braces because it's an else if statement? So now I have getting a problem because of the size of the thing. Well, it's because I'm comparing an integer and a string. Line 65 as well. Yeah, I'm not sure if I understand this. I think it has to do with the type of string they are passing in the beginning. Comparison of integers of different signs. Standard basic string char. Unsigned long. So maybe I should search for how to convert an unsigned long integer into, yeah, but yeah, that's probably better. Oh, maybe I can do, no, no, what should do. I'm gonna make another variable here. I'm gonna call braces int. Yeah, but the issue is that I have to change everything else. That's the problem. I should have done this in the beginning, probably. I'm not really sure if this is gonna work anyway. Because now I'm gonna store this in an int. Oh, so that's. I have to change the other one, obviously, but. Okay, so this works, I think. So this is the first. Yeah, this is the other thing, actually. I just realized. Well, I don't think it matters if I loop until the end of the main string and these smaller for loops. Because I want to get the whole string anyway. Or maybe not. Maybe I should be using the first off and last off to decide the size of the loop. Oh, actually, I could be doing that from the beginning, I think. You just use the first off for this and last off for this, and then loop through the pattern. Use the beginning and the end to decide the size of the for loop. Yeah, but now I think I'm just gonna see if it works this way because I already did all this stuff. So which line is this? I think it's 33. Unqualified ID. Don't understand what this means. Maybe it's this thing here. Expected unqualified ID. Extraneous closing brace. It's probably I probably forgot a bracelets somewhere. Oh, probably this. Let's see. But this has to be from the main one. Oh, it isn't. Oh, this closes here. Huh. So I forgot I erased some brace at some point. And it's gonna be a problem to figure out which one. Okay, so this is right. And so this is closing here. This here. I'm gonna separate them so it's easier to see. So I think this is a block, this another one. This isn't supposed to be here. So I need to put an extra one here. Or erase this one. Yeah, now this one seems to be correct. This ends here. Here. So probably I have to erase this one now. Yeah. So it's probably that one. Okay, so at least I got the right one there. Hey Vivex, how are you? So line 6 here. No, line 33. Expected expression. Oh. It's probably this, I think. Yeah, let's see if it works. Okay, at least it's running. So I got another. I think I'm getting the same mistakes as before, actually. This one is the easiest to solve, but this shoe, yeah, I have no idea why it's not working. Because it should be going through this loop from the beginning to the end. Oh, maybe it's because of the thing I was saying before, where actually, yeah, I need to get the beginning and the end. Because I'm looping through the whole thing instead of looping through the. I shouldn't be looping through braces. I should be looping through the index that is at right now. Also, I should do I until K1 here. And then the same on the other ones. Actually, V doesn't matter, but actually matters because I'm increasing the K and not the K1. And here from I to J. Yeah, maybe this solves the issue. It's still a shitty solution, but whatever. Yeah, so this is returning true, and this. So now I make the test in the beginning here. I'm gonna make an R statement. So I think I can use first off. Oh, I'm gonna make this equal to a variable actually. And it ended up not using these ones, so I'm gonna erase them. String bra equals braces dot find first off. Yeah, I have to do 3 of them, I think. And this is gonna return me an integer. That's the brackets, curly braces, and parentheses. So now I make if bra is equal to 0 because it didn't find, or equal to 0 which is 0. Return false. So I think this should solve this one. And then I think about this one. Because I'm not sure if this returns 0 when it doesn't find. We should look at that. The position of the first character that matches. If no matches are found, the function returns string and POs. So if it's not found, then it's gonna return this. The issue, it has to be the first one. So I guess I can say 0 there. Yeah, but then I have to use the same thing I did here. Actually, copy this one. And now I have to make this equal to the whatever this method is here. Maximum value for size the -1, I think. I'm gonna try with -1. Any pose is a static member constant value with the greatest possible value for an element of type size t. The value, when used as the value for a lane or sublane parameter in strings member functions, means until the end of the string. As a return value, it is usually used to indicate no matches. Fine with a value of -1. Because size t is an unsigned integral type. It is the largest possible representable value for this type. So I'm gonna make -1. So if it doesn't find either of them as the first, it returns false. So I'm not sure why this is not working. Probably because brace is 0. Oh, I can do this inside of here. Actually. Yeah, I'm just gonna do that because I don't wanna think too much about it. Actually, I make if I equals 0. And then here I just make 1. Oh, I. And then there's still one more, if this works. There's still one more thing that I have to do. I'm probably way past 2 hours now, but I think I'm close to finishing this. And so this is not working. How come it works here? Doesn't make sense. Oh, it's because it's an integer, not a string. So maybe it was working on outside. But now let's leave it this way. Okay, at least it worked now. But now this one is failing and it was working before. Which is weird because it didn't change anything. So let me put this outside again and see if that changes. Hopefully it works like this. It's running, but it's still failing. So it, it was probably something else. Maybe it's because this value is 0 when that happens. And then it doesn't go through the loop. Or returns false. Or maybe, yeah, I have to put -1 here because it's not 0 when it doesn't find. That's probably the issue. No, actually, not that's not the issue. I'm still gonna change here because it should be returning true and I'm returning false. So. Yeah, so it's something else that I'm missing. But what could it be? So if this, I shouldn't be returning false if there is this one. Maybe if I put equal to k here, that might be the problem. Let's see. Oh, it's still the same thing. Yeah, so I have no idea why it's doing that. It's clearly missing this pattern here, so it has to be this thing that is incorrect, but I'm not sure why. I assume it's something to do with the size of the number. That When he catches this, it's probably 1. But he should be going through the first loop at least, I think. Let's see if I do -1 here. Now let me do in the parentheses one, just see if it passes. Yeah, but then the problem is if return 0 is gonna return false anyway, because but I think it's worth testing. And it still doesn't work. Maybe if I do +1, but then that might screw up the other ones. So it's probably not this actually. Might be something else. And it has to be this. There's no other. Um, One thing I can do is try to console log this K1 to see. Yeah, but then how would I do it only for the first iteration? It doesn't even show anything. It might be these methods here that I'm using. That should be the other way around, I think. Because K1 should be the last number. Yeah, that's the problem. Because I'm incrementing by K here. But I'm not sure if that makes sense. Because how is the other test passing? Because I is gonna be bigger than K. At the beginning has to be I. That's the problem. I think I should make another. another variable inside of here and then increase that one. It's probably the best approach. This looks so so ugly. And because I is gonna be the first position, the position where it stops the loop here. So it has to loop from this. I think now this probably works, maybe. Oh, I have to change here as well. Yeah, I'm gonna do this and see what happens. Let me just change, make sure that if this doesn't work, I think I'm gonna stop here now and probably continue this some other time and just look at the solution. And then next time move on to the next one. I'm not very hopeful, to be honest. Yeah. I think I'm gonna stop here. I wonder if I can see the solution without solving the thing. Unlock solutions. Oh, and I can try again then. So I'm gonna take a look at the solutions and I'm gonna try another time, I think. I'm probably gonna do this off stream, to be honest, because I already passed 2 hours, so I just got through into it. So I'll probably come back some other time and yeah, continue to do these challenges. See ya.